Welcome to Singapore Property Talk Law, where we dive deep into all things Singapore real estate.
Right.
And today we're tackling a question that's on the mind of so many aspiring homeowners, right?
Yeah,
New launch or resale condo.
a big decision for sure with big implications. I'm Serene, and I'm here to help you make the best decision for your lifestyle and your finances.
I think we all love looking at those brochures for those new launches. You know, ma'am, Damien. And I love those shiny brochures showcasing all the modern designs, the state-of-the-art facilities. It's like you're the first one living there, right?
Yeah, the latest and greatest. You've hit a key point there. Developers really capitalize on this with their marketing and pricing strategies. And, when those temporary occupation permits are issued, the TLP effect. We often see prices jump because there's that increase in buyer interest.
So it's sort of like buying the latest iPhone model. You get that cutting-edge tech and the prestige of being the first. But does this TLP effect actually lead to higher returns?
Not necessarily. It might create that short-term price bump, but long-term profitability really depends on a lot of things. Location, developer
Yeah.
reputation, market conditions, so many factors.
So new launches definitely have that newness factor,
Yeah.
but they also seem a lot pricier up front. So how do those progressive payment schemes work? And can they make new launches a bit more manageable compared to resale condos?
So with progressive payments, you're basically paying as construction progresses, which can be less daunting than that big down payment you need for a resale. But you really have to factor in TDSR, your total debt servicing ratio.
Okay, can you explain that a little bit more?
Sure. It basically limits how much you can actually borrow. It's based on your income, so it ensures that you can actually manage those mortgage repayments.
So even if a new launch seems affordable, thanks to that payment structure, buyers still need to make sure that they qualify for the loan amount, especially with prices going up.
Exactly. Affordability isn't just about the price tag. You really need to understand your finances,
Yeah.
your income, your loan eligibility, and that impact of TDSR.
Okay, so let's move on to resale condos. They may not have that brand new sparkle, but what are some of their advantages?
Well, resale condos can actually offer you more value for your money, especially when it comes to space. Families might find larger units for the same price as a tiny new launch. They can also be great if you need to move in quickly or want to generate rental income right away.
That makes sense. With a resale condo, it's ready for you to move in or rent it out, whereas with a new launch, you might have to wait for it to be built.
Exactly. But research is key. Think about potential maintenance, renovation costs, the age of the property. These can all impact your investment.
So it sounds like whether it's new launch or resale, doing your homework is super important. Buyers really need to get what makes each property unique and see how that fits their needs and finances. But the big question I think for a lot of people is, which option gives you better returns on your investment?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. It's not a simple answer. Research shows that both new launches and resale condos can be great investments, but it really depends on a bunch of different factors.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's look at some real-world examples and see how these factors play out in the market.
Let's do it. Let's head over to Queenstown, a popular residential area. We'll compare Commonwealth Towers, a new launch finished in 2017, to the Queens, a resale condo built back in 2002.
Okay, both are close to the Queenstown MRT, so location-wise, they seem pretty similar.
Yes, but when you look at their price performance, there's a big difference. Commonwealth Towers launched at a higher price per square foot, but it's seen much higher capital appreciation compared to the Queens.
So the newer development, even with a higher starting price, ended up doing better. Do we see this in other places too?
Let's look at District 3. We'll compare Alex Residences, another new launch completed in 2013, to Essentia Sky, a resale condo completed in 2008. Both are conveniently near the Red Hill MRT station.
Okay, same location, but different completion dates. How did they do in terms of price growth?
Alex Residences, despite its higher launch price, has actually outperformed Essentia Sky when it comes to capital appreciation.
Interesting. It really challenges the idea that older, more affordable condos always give you better value. But what about renting them out? We talked about new launches often having smaller units. How does that affect rental yields?
Great question. Newer condos might have those more compact units, but they often get higher rental yields.
So smaller units, higher prices, but also higher rental yields. How does that work?
It's all about demand.
Hmm.
Tenants these days are looking for modern designs, new facilities, that feeling of living in a fresh, contemporary space, and they're willing to pay more for that.
So it's kind of like that TOP effect we discussed.
Yeah.
But it's happening in the rental market.
Exactly. And for investors, this means better returns, even with those smaller units.
Okay, so we've seen how new launches can actually do better than resales,
Hmm.
both in terms of how much of their value goes up and how much rent you can get. But let's not forget about the money side of things. Can you remind us about down payments and TDSR and how they affect affordability?
Sure. When you're buying resale, you usually need a bigger down payment compared to a new launch. And that's where TDSR comes in. It makes sure you can actually handle your mortgage payments.
Right, so even if a resale condo looks cheaper per square foot, that higher down payment means you might need a much higher income to get the loan.
Exactly. You have to consider your finances and how TDSR affects what you can borrow.
This really highlights how important it is to figure out your budget and get that pre-approval for a loan before you start looking.
Absolutely. Knowing how much you can borrow helps you make smart decisions without overspending.
Okay, so these key studies have shown us some interesting things. New launches, even though they're often more expensive, have done really well, both in terms of price growth and rental income in certain areas. But it's not a guaranteed win.
Right. There are a lot of factors involved. Location,
Ah.
the developer's reputation, market conditions. It all plays a role.
And of course, we can't forget the financial side. Down payments, TDSR, and your overall financial health are key. So with all that in mind, let's talk about the personal side of things. How do our lifestyle and needs factor into the decision between new launch and resale?
Yeah, let's get into that.
Because buying a home is a big decision. It's about finding a place that fits your lifestyle, your dreams, and your plans for the future.
Totally. Beyond just numbers, there are emotional and practical things to consider. For some people, that brand new condo is just so appealing. That feeling of being the first to live in a pristine space with modern design and great facilities.
It's like that new car smell, but for a house.
Yeah.
Everything is fresh and untouched.
Exactly. New launches are often perfect for people who want a modern and convenient lifestyle. Smart home features fancy appliances, resort-style amenities. It's a sense of luxury and exclusivity.
But resale condos have their own charm too,
Yeah.
right? What are some reasons people go for those?
Resale condos often have a sense of history and character. They've been lived in, they have stories, and they often have more space. This can be great for families or anyone who just wants more room.
Yeah, it's like choosing a cozy bookstore over a digital storefront.
Exactly. And they're usually in established neighborhoods, mature trees, a good community feel, close to schools, parks, and hawker centers.
So it's not just about the property, but the whole area and lifestyle.
Exactly.
So choosing between a new launch and a resale condo is about figuring out what's important to you.
Right.
Do you want modern design and newness, or do you prefer space character and a well-established community?
And let's not forget about practical stuff like when you can move in.
If you need to move quickly, a resale might be better. But if you can wait and want to customize your place, a new launch could be more appealing.
Exactly.
It's all about matching your choice with your current needs and future plans. Okay, so we've looked at the financial side, the market, the personal side of this decision, and it's clear there's no one right answer.
The best choice depends on your situation, your goals, and what you want your future home to be.
So do your research, understand your options, and make a decision you feel good about.
And don't forget, talking to pros like property agents and financial advisors can be super helpful. They can give you insights and support throughout the whole process.
Great advice. So to everyone listening, whether you're thinking new launch or resale, remember to think about what you need. Do your homework and choose a place that truly feels like home.
And on that note, it's time for us to wrap up this episode of Singapore Property Talk Law.
Thanks for joining us. We hope this deep dive has given you the knowledge you need to navigate Singapore's exciting real estate world.
And until next time, happy house hunting. Let's head over to Queenstown. It's a really popular spot for people to live. We'll compare Commonwealth Towers, which was a new launch finished in 2017, to the Queens, which is a resale condo built way back in 2002.
So they're both near the Queenstown MRT station, so location-wise, they're pretty much the same, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But their price performance is quite different. So Commonwealth Towers, even though it started at a higher price per square foot, it's actually seen much higher capital appreciation, meaning its value has gone up more than the Queens.
So the newer condo, even though it was more expensive at the beginning, ended up doing better. Is that something we see in other areas as well?
Let's take a look at District 3. We can compare Alex Residences, another new launch finished in 2013, with Essentia Sky, which is a resale condo finished in 2008. Both of them are conveniently located near the Red Hill MRT station.
So same location, different completion dates. How do they do in terms of price growth?
Well, Alex Residences, even with its higher launch price, has actually done better than Essentia Sky in terms of capital appreciation.
So that's interesting. It goes against the idea that older, cheaper condos are always a better deal. But what about renting these places out? We were talking about how new launches often have smaller units. How does that affect rental yields?
That's a really good question. Newer condos might have those smaller units, but they often get higher rental yields.
Wait a minute, so smaller units cost more, but they also give you more rent. How does that make sense?
It's all about what people are looking for. Tenants these days, they want modern designs, they want those new facilities, they want that feeling of living in a brand new place, and they're willing to pay more to get that.
So it's kind of like that TLP effect, but for the rental market.
Exactly. And for investors, this means better returns, even if the units are smaller.
So we've seen how new launches can sometimes do better than resales, both in terms of their value going up and the amount of rent you can get. But we can't forget about the financial side of things. Can you break down the down payment differences and how that total debt servicing ratio or TDSR affects things?
Of course, with resale condos, you usually need a bigger down payment compared to a new launch, and that's where TDSR comes in. It limits how much you can actually borrow based on your income.
Right, so even if a resale condo looks cheaper based on the price per square foot, that bigger down payment could mean needing a much higher income to qualify for the loan.
Exactly. It's so important to think about your own finances and how TDSR affects how much you can borrow.
This really emphasizes why it's so important to figure out your budget
Yeah,
and get pre-approved for a loan before you even start looking at properties.
absolutely. Knowing how much you can borrow helps you make better decisions and avoid overspending.
So we've learned some interesting stuff from these real-world examples. Sometimes new launches, even though they cost more, do better in the long run, both in terms of how much their value increases and how much rent they can bring in. But it's not a guarantee.
Right, there are many factors at play. The location, the developer's reputation, the overall market, and of course the specific features of the property.
And of course, the money part is important too.
Yeah,
Down payments, TDSR, and your overall financial situation are all key.
couldn't agree more.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit
Yeah.
and talk about the personal side of this decision. How do lifestyle and personal preferences play into choosing between a new launch and a resale condo?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Because buying a home is more than just an investment. It's finding a place that really fits you, your lifestyle, and your hopes for the future.
Exactly. It's not just about numbers. There are emotions and practical stuff too. Some people love the idea of a brand new condo, that feeling of being the first to live there with all the modern design and those amazing facilities.
Yeah, like that new car smell, but for a house.
Right. New launches are often perfect for those who want a modern, convenient lifestyle. They have smart home features, top-of-the-line appliances, resort-style amenities. It's all about that luxury and exclusivity.
But resale condos have their own appeal, don't they? What attracts people to those?
Well, resale condos often have a sense of history and character. They've been lived in, they have stories, and they often come with more space, which can be a big plus for families or anyone who just wants extra room.
Yeah, it's like choosing a cozy bookstore over a sleek digital one.
Exactly. And they're usually in established neighborhoods, mature trees, a strong community feel, close to schools, parks, and hawker centers.
So it's about the whole neighborhood and the lifestyle it offers.
Mm.
Choosing between new and resale is about knowing what matters most to you. Do you want modern design and something brand new? Or do you prefer space, character, and a well-established community?
Right. It's about finding what fits your lifestyle.
And don't forget practical things, like when you can move in. If you need to move quickly, a resale might be the way to go. But if you have time and want to customize your place, a new launch could be better.
It's all about matching your choice with your needs and plans.
So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about finances, market trends, and personal preferences. And it's clear there's no single answer that fits everyone.
The best choice really depends on you, your situation, your goals, and what you want in a home.
So do your research, know your options, and make a decision you're happy with.
And remember, talking to professionals like property agents and financial advisors can be a huge help. They can give you expert advice and support along the way.
Great advice. So to all our listeners out there, whether you're team new launch or team resale, remember to think about your needs, do your homework, and choose a place that truly feels like home.
And on that note, it's time to wrap up this episode of Singapore Property Talk Law.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We hope this deep dive has given you the insights you need to navigate the exciting world of Singapore real estate.
And until next time, happy house hunting.